Tom Mulcair joins me now. He's CTV's political commentator and the former leader of the NDP. Good morning to you, Tom.
Good to be with you, Marcia.
So we had Poilievre yesterday pushing a non-confidence motion against the Liberals at the earliest time possible. We've got Jagmeet Singh today saying that all bets are off. As we go into a new session of Parliament, where are we?
Well, I'm willing to make a bet that Mr. Singh is not going to vote down the Liberal government anytime soon, and we'll see what he in fact does. When you have a confidence motion, you go in order. Of course, the party that presents it will go before, and after that, it'll be the Bloc and then the NDP. So if the Bloc votes with the Conservatives in favor of non-confidence on this one, that leaves the NDP hanging, and they're going to have no choice but to vote their confidence in Mr. Trudeau's Liberal government after all the very tough things that Mr. Singh said about Mr. Trudeau not deserving another chance. And, everything that he said last week will just come to naught. It's a funny situation. Trudeau, of course, is under a lot of pressure to step down. Mark Carney's arrival has just allowed people to realize that, there are really good people out there who could take his place. His numbers are abysmal. He's 20 points down from the Conservatives. He says bravely that he's anxious to get back in the House with Poilievre, but I'm anxious to see whether Mr. Trudeau comes in on Monday or not, because he has had a tendency in the past to skip the first day and hold on till maybe the Tuesday or usually the Wednesday. So we'll see whether he actually shows up for the first day, Marcia. That will be very telling. And as you say, Monday's by-election in that riding in Montreal is crucial. It is a safe Liberal riding. David Lametti won it again, and won it handily. And it was a lot of it was Paul Martin's writing. It's not the exact same writing, but it was essentially, a key part, LaSalle, was much of Paul Martin's writing. And the Liberals are, according to all the information I've been getting on the ground, in deep trouble. They could very well lose this thing. And if they do, a whole new round of speculation about Trudeau's departure will, of course, begin.
I haven't had a chance to speak with you since the Carney announcement. I wanted to get your take on it, especially after Carney addressed caucus in Nanaimo. Is there some danger there, Tom, in having someone right next to you that people can make that comparison? I mean, where was the wisdom there?
Well, the comparison works both ways, because people who know Trudeau to be a very competent, seasoned professional politician will say, well, this guy knows what to do in a campaign. What about this guy, Carney? Some people even said that Carney, didn't sparkle enough, didn't come out too strongly. But if he had, people would have finger pointed and say, oh, he's obviously campaigning for the top job. So Carney understated his presence there, simply said he was answering the call of the prime minister to help the party. And nobody can reproach that. Because remember back in the spring, Marcia, when Carney was being asked to come back and everything like that, and there was talk about him, people around Mr. Trudeau were putting out some very tough spins saying, oh, well, when we asked Carney to help the party, he wasn't there for us, meaning that back at the 2021 election, they had wanted Carney to run with Trudeau. And Carney, quite wisely, in my view, said, no, I'm a senior advisor at the United Nations and elsewhere, and I'm going to keep this to myself. And he was doing that simply because he knew what a mess economically Trudeau's Liberals had done, since they had been there. So he stayed back. Now he's saying, look, I'm willing to help. And he's just essentially saying, look, I'm in the bullpen. If you need to call on me, I'll come in. And the Liberals, I don't think that there's anybody in the Liberal universe who could do better than Mark Carney to improve their chances against Poilievre. Certainly not Trudeau.
I'm going to squeeze in one last question. I need a short answer, please. What is your political analysis of Poilievre's call yesterday, essentially putting the Liberals and the NDP on notice? Are we closer to an election?
No, not this week, not with that motion. It's going to be game playing. I'll, again, go out on a limb and make a prediction, Marcia, that Poilievre will use word for word what Singh said about Trudeau, trying to bait him, trying to force his hand, and trying to make it as uncomfortable as possible. I'm not a big fan of the name calling. Mr. Poilievre has taken to name calling very much like Trump south of the border. I don't think that's appropriate in Canadian politics. But no question that Poilievre is one heck of a parliamentarian. He knows how to stand up and, swing away in question period. He dominates Trudeau, period. Trudeau, reads stuff that's written by other people. So Poilievre's going to keep, ahead of steam. And I think the Liberals are going to continue to have trouble until Mr. Trudeau accepts the inevitable, that he's either going to lose badly to the Conservatives or he could ask somebody else to maybe move in and have a much better chance of taking them on.
Tom Mulcair for us this morning with all the predictions. Love it. Appreciate your time with us this morning. We'll see you again.